Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into, a really ancient text. It's this powerful song full of celebration and kingship, and we want to see what principles we can actually pull from it for life today. It's quite something. It demands this new song asks the whole world to join in.
We are indeed taking a deep dive into Psalm 98, and it's more than just a nice hymn, isn't it? It's this bold declaration. It's all about God's victory, his salvation being shown to everyone, his justice, his role as king over everything.
Yeah, and our mission today is really focused. We want to unpack this psalm, look at its core message about, victory and justice, and connect that directly to our lives. The aim isn't just, literary analysis. It's about how understanding God's character here, reliable, victorious, fair, can actually strengthen our trust in him, deepen that relationship.
And what's so striking is the confidence right from the start. The psalmist says God has done these marvelous things, like brand new things so big they demand a totally fresh response from us. And crucially, his salvation isn't hidden. It's revealed openly for all nations to see. That global aspect is huge.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. Verse 1 hits you immediately. Oh, sing unto the Lord a new song. So if God's always been good, always sovereign, why a new song? Why aren't the old ones enough?
That's a great question. And the text gives the reason straight away. It's a new song because the victory is fresh. It's a new act of redemption. The reason given is God's right hand and his holy arm have gotten him the victory. We have to pause there. That image, the holy arm.
Yeah, what's the significance there?
In ancient texts, the arm is all about active power, strength, like getting things done. So this victory wasn't won by, say, a human army or clever strategy. It was won entirely by God's own divine power, his holy power. That makes it utterly unique. Requires a new song.
Ah, okay. So that focus on God being the sole actor, the one securing the win, that speaks directly to trust, doesn't it? Lifts the burden. Verses 2 and 3 then seem to broaden the picture, moving from Israel to, everyone.
Exactly. It acknowledges the history first. God hath remembered his mercy and his truth toward the house of Israel. That's the foundation. But then immediately it pivots. All the ends of the earth have seen the salvation of our God. That's massive for its time.
A radical shift.
Totally. It takes salvation out of just a local context and makes it universal, cosmic even. This specific victory has global implications.
Okay, so if the victory is God's alone and everyone can see it, the response has to be universal too. And the next bit, verses 4 to 6, it sounds less like quiet reflection and more like a huge party.
Absolutely. It shifts gear completely. The call goes out to the whole earth to make a joyful noise, rejoice, sing praise. It's loud, it's communal. And the psalmist is quite specific about how loud and with what instruments.
Right, it's not just make some music. It lists the harp, singing, trumpets, the cornet. Why those specific instruments? Are they just, common ones?
Well, they're not random. They carry real cultural weight.
Yeah.
The harp, okay, that's often for joyful praise, maybe more reflective sometimes. But trumpets and the cornet, often a shofar, a ram's horn, those are signals. They announce something big.
Like what?
Usually associated with two key things.
Yeah.
Signaling battle, or, more fitting here, announcing the coronation of a king.
Yeah.
Or a royal judgment. So by demanding these instruments, the psalm is basically saying, your king has arrived, he's triumphant, get ready, he's taking his throne.
Yeah.
It confirms God's kingship.
That's powerful. So the joyful noise isn't just happiness, it's a royal announcement, a declaration that the king is here to rule and to judge. And it's not just humans making noise. Verses 7 to 9 are amazing. The sea roars, floods clap their hands, hills are joyful together, nature itself joins in.
It's this incredible, unified chorus, everything acknowledging the king. When a true king arrives, the whole realm responds, right? So creation joins the celebration because it understands why everyone's cheering. He cometh to judge the earth. And this isn't presented as scary, it's the reason for the joy.
If the whole universe cheers for the judge, his judgment must be fundamentally good. The psalm ends by saying, he'll judge with righteousness and the people with equity. Let's focus on that pairing, righteousness and equity.
This is really the bedrock of trust in the whole psalm. Righteousness Dedek is about adhering to God's perfect standard, his law. It's about being right. But equity Meshurim adds this crucial layer. It means fairness, applying the law justly, considering the situation. Straightness, balance. It's not just about rules, it's about ruling well.
So good governance?
Exactly. The universe is celebrating because its king isn't just powerful enough to win, the holy arm. He's also morally perfect enough to rule fairly. Righteousness and equity. That combo. That's why you can trust him.
Okay, that concept of guaranteed fair judgment feels like the bridge we need, moving from the text itself to the timeless wisdom. What are the key insights here for building trust in God today?
Well, first, circling back to that core idea, salvation is God's work. His holy arm did it. That means our striving, our worrying about securing our own ultimate future, it's kind of unnecessary. Trust becomes simply relying on the one who's already proven he can deliver. That frees us up immensely.
And the fact it's revealed to all nations, that universality aspect that speaks to his
Yeah,
capability, right? His reach.
absolutely. The universality of God's glory reassures us we're not trusting some limited local power. We're trusting the God of the whole cosmos. His power is boundless. His concern isn't restricted. That unlimited scope, combined with his perfect fairness, makes him inherently trustworthy.
Plus, that anchor in God's just rule, the promise of righteousness and equity, in a world that often feels so unfair, so chaotic.
Hmm.
Believing in a king whose defining characteristic is fairness, whose arrival is cheered because he rules justly, that's got to be foundational for keeping faith, for maintaining trust when things look bleak.
It really provides a moral anchor. You trust him not just because he can act, but because he will act rightly, fairly. And then there's the joyful worship itself,
Mhm.
that loud, enthusiastic praise.
Yeah, it's not quiet or reserved.
No, it shows that joy isn't just a passive feeling here. It's the right, the fitting, the wholehearted response to recognizing who this king is, powerful, victorious, and just.
Okay, so that's the ancient wisdom laid out. How do we take that certainty, that foundation, and use it to actively strengthen our relationship with God now in our everyday complex lives? What does singing a new song actually look like day to day?
I think singing a new song today is about actively cultivating fresh gratitude. It's about intentionally pushing back against, cynicism or just falling into old complaint patterns. It means consciously looking for and naming the new things God is doing, the blessings, the provisions, however small they seem. Recognizing them reinforces that he's active now, building trust for today and tomorrow.
That connection between gratitude and pushing back cynicism feels really important. It's so easy to get dragged down by negativity.
It really is. But the psalm implies that rejecting cynicism with joy isn't being naive. It's actually a deeply rational act of trust. If you truly believe the king is coming to judge for perfect equity, you're sort of intellectually liberated from despairing over current injustice. Joy becomes a statement. I trust the ultimate outcome because I trust the king. That mindset is a huge trust builder.
And because his rule is all about righteousness and equity, that has to shape how we live too, right? It's not just internal belief.
Exactly. It calls us to commit to justice ourselves. It moves beyond just personal piety. It means actively living for and advocating for fairness, truth, equity in our own spheres, our families, workplaces, communities. Knowing God secures ultimate justice empowers us to act justly now, making it less of a burden and more like participating in his kingdom. That deepens the relationship.
And we shouldn't forget the nature imagery, the sea, the hills rejoicing. That connects our faith to the physical world.
Yes, it prompts us to see the world as sacred. If creation itself praises the king, then honoring him includes caring for his creation, protecting the environment, being mindful of our impact. These actions become acts of worship, directly linked back to the Psalm's vision.
And finally, the sheer volume, the instruments, the communal aspect. Faith isn't meant to be a solo, quiet affair, according to this psalm.
Not at all. We need to celebrate together, share joy, loud thanksgiving, whether in church, with family, in community life. It strengthens everyone's faith. When you see others expressing that radical trust through celebration, it bolsters your own. Trust can be contagious in a good way.
So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway? Psalm 98 seems to be calling us to a very active faith. Live joyfully, gratefully, celebrate God's goodness together, honor his creation, and pursue justice. And do all this not out of duty, but as a confident expression of trust in a king who's already won.
That's it, perfectly. Every part of life, how we treat others, how we care for the planet, how we handle disappointments, how we express gratitude, it's all an opportunity to lean into God's proven character, his power, his victory, his righteousness, his equity. That's the unshakable ground for our trust, enabling us to genuinely sing that new song every day.
So, thinking about that foundation, the knowledge that God secures the victory himself and rules with perfect fairness, here's something to consider. How will you apply that this week? How will you live with fresh gratitude and actively demonstrate that trust?